I'm Judge Princess Ongkeko. This is my new YouTube channel, Judge Princess TV. Today, I have a very special guest for you. I'm so glad she has agreed to appear at today's show. She has a magna cum laude degree in psychology from UP Diliman. She has a master's from the University of Hawaii and a doctorate in clinical psychology from the Ateneo de Manila. She is a columnist, an author of 18 books. She lectures at the UP. She lectures at the Pamantasan ng Lungsod ng Manila. She's a columnist for Rappler, was a columnist for the Philippine Daily Inquirer. And without much ado, one of my favorite people in the whole world, Dr. Margie Holmes. Hi, Marge.
Hi, Princess. Thank you for inviting me. I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah, you're one of my favorite gurus of all time. So I will proceed to the first question. Yes. How would you advise single people to act? Should they date a lot of people or should they stick to one before getting married?
Okay, I think that depends on their age. If they're 15 or 16, or maybe that's too young, no? Oh, whatever, no? If they're before 25, I think definitely you should date a lot of people. But if you're 35 and you haven't been married now, I'm presuming you've been dating a lot of people. But by that time, maybe sticking to one is a very good idea.
What makes more sense? Would people be happier single? Or would they be happier married? Or would they be happier living together? What's your take on that?
Okay, this is my opinion, not something professional that I'm saying. I think you are happy being married if you like your spouse. But if you do not like your spouse, then it's much better to be single. Okay? So yung let me talk about women, no?
Alright.
Kung binubugbog po kayo ng asawa ninyo, palagay ko po, mas masaya kayo kung wala kayong asawa. And of course, you have to take everything into consideration, if they have enough money to live on, etc.
But how do you know? How do you know if it is Mr. Right or Miss Right? Are there cues to say whether or not you should be together for the rest of your lives?
Oh my God, not any that I know of, no? In my opinion, what really matters is if you can respect this person. It doesn't matter if you're an extrovert, he's an introvert, or vice versa. What matters is, are your core values the same? Is your definition of lying and cheating and being corrupt the same as his definition? This is more important. Tapos, he's an introvert, you're an extrovert, baliwala yun. You can adjust to those things. But the basic core levels, that matters. At kung hindi kayo ganyan, then I don't think he's Mr. Right.
I heard of a theory that you should marry your psychological opposite. What do you think about that?
I really think, as I say, psychological opposite, psychological opposite, in my view. What really matters is, he can be your opposite, he can be like you. Basta, you are honest with each other. You have a relentless or unforgiving honesty with each other. Mahirap yung nagsisinungaling kahit na maliit na bagay. Because as you know, Princess, one lie begets other lies. It doesn't mean you have to tell the whole truth to your husband. We'll just say you slept with 50 men. You don't have to tell him, oh, you're number 51, no? I slept with 50 men. But please, if he asks you if you're a virgin, don't say you're a virgin because that's a lie. Do you know what I mean? Lying is not good. I mean, in my clinical experience, okay, it's never good. Depending on what kind of relationship you want. Ngayon, kung gusto mo, a relationship na, in a way, nagagamitan kayo, no? It's nice for you to be married to Dr. Margie Holmes or Judge Princess. It's nice for you to be married, but you don't really love this person. You don't really respect this person enough to be honest with this person. This is a relationship I wouldn't advise.
In your opinion, Dr. Marge, you should only get married for love. Is this correct?
Opinion, not my professional view. In my opinion, yes.
Okay, let's go to your professional view. Should
Okay.
you only get married for love?
You're very good. That's why you're a judge. And I'm just a psychologist. Should you get married? No, princess, it depends what kind of marriage you want. If it's a marriage of convenience, which is not necessarily bad, you're running for public office, maybe you're gay, maybe you're not, but you don't want people to think you're gay, so you have to get married. As long as you don't lie to that person, I have to get married. So any talk about my being gay will be squashed.
So, Dr. Marge, in your professional opinion, would people be happier remaining single in a live-in relationship or married?
Let's compare lived in to being married, okay? So there are these two people who will say, let's just live in because alam mo mahirap na pag kasal kayo kasi, there's no divorce in the Philippines, etc. Okay, but studies have shown that if you live in rather than get married, you still have the same problems. Okay, if you have problems with in-laws, the parents of your partner, being married or just living in, you will still have these problems. If you have problems about money, you will still have these problems. Sometimes people say, I don't want to get married because what's a piece of paper? Blah, 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 blah. There are benefits to having that, in quotes, piece of paper. At saka, people who say it doesn't matter whether you have a piece of paper or not. So if it doesn't matter, why don't you get it? That's my view. So obviously, I'm for marriage. And I say this because in my clinical experience, it's usually the woman who wants to get married, not the man.
Okay, so let's go now to the juicy part of our conversation. Okay. Let's talk about married people. Now, what would you advise married people who have problems in the bedroom? What if sexually they can't get along? What would you advise them?
Okay. First of all, it's not true that as long as you love each other, sex will be terrific. Okay? What happens is if you love each other, you will try. And if you realize that it's not enough, your efforts are not enough, because you love your partner, you will be willing to go for therapy or counseling. All right? This is what I say. And if your partner wants something, kahit na, can I give an example?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Yes, please. Okay, we'll just say, okay, because this has happened in my case.
Okay.
We'll just say the guy wants you to swallow his semen. Okay? So some women will say, or nakakasuka, o parang lasang Ajax.
You can spit it out.
This is what I get from my
okay.
letter writer.
Okay.
Okay, all I'm saying is, okay, if you're really gagging, don't do it. But kung mahal mo siya at for whatever reason, this is important to him, why don't you give it a try? No? At siguro naman kung you try tapos napasok ka, siguro naman your husband or your partner will not do it. But it's anything. It's not just that, in case you want to take that off. It's doing the doggy style or doing whatever. So all I say is try it if you can. And do not try it just once. Try it at least 3 or 4 times. Because the first 2 times you try it, siguradong ayaw mo eh. But if you try it the 3rd or the 4th time, you might be more open to it. Okay, so on the one hand, it is not true that as long as you love each other, sex will be terrific. Okay. The second is, it is also not true that if sex is terrific, that means you love the person. Hindi. Some people are just good in bed. Some people talagang magaling magromansa. Okay, so sex will be terrific, and I'm so happy for you because everyone should have that experience. Hopefully not just once, but many, many times, if not all the time.
But Doc Marge, I have a friend, a woman friend, a Filipina. She simply does not enjoy sex. Now, what kind of advice can we give her if she does not enjoy sex?
It's hard to give advice, Princess, unless I know her. unless I talk to her. Kasi hindi naman,
because I know this woman, her mother did not enjoy sex either. They found it dirty. So now when she has sex with her husband, she's not happy. She feels like she's being raped all the time. Is this something that she should try to cure? Or should she stay that way? What do you think?
I think, and as I said, we have to qualify that I haven't met her, no? But judging from what you said, I think it would help if she went for therapy. Because, one size doesn't fit all. And even though the problem is the same, that parang, in quotes, minana mo ba ito sa nanay mo who also thought sex was bad, the treatment for you might be different for the treatment for someone else.
Yeah, pero Marge, it's like for Filipinas, no, going to a psychologist is expensive, no? So can you give us some practical tips for women who don't enjoy sex? Or suppose I were so prudish, no, and I didn't enjoy sex. Of course, I do enjoy sex with my husband, but I have friends who simply don't. And I think that it's one of the better things in life, I'm so happy that my husband is really good when it comes to that part of our relationship. but I pity my friends who don't enjoy it. So give them some tips. What should they do? What should this woman do to enjoy it?
Okay, two things. First of all, therapy need not be expensive. There are places that give free counseling. The Bulatao Psychological Services in Ateneo, UP, I am so sure there are places there that give free therapy. But of course, it depends. I hesitate to give tips, but if I were, I would say, maybe if you have any fears, try to examine them. If you can talk to someone, that will help. If you can talk to your partner and share these fears, that can help. Okay, it's harder to give if I don't know, if you drink a little wine, not to get drunk that you won't remember anything. But if you drink a little wine to make you a little bit more buzzy, that would help. But let me tell you something else. Alam mo, men don't seem to realize that women need what we call foreplay, which I hate. I hate that word because it sounds like a duty. But studies, there was a study done by Cosmopolitan, and Cosmopolitan, the women who answered are usually very forward thinking, and the study showed that even for these women who are very liberal, they need at least 20 minutes of foreplay or 20 minutes of pagroromansa before they are ready for penetration. I don't know how many husbands still take that time. 20 minutes, hindi lang yung isang halik, a massage of 1 minute on one breast, another 1 minute massage on the other, and then bam, you're ready to go.
Experience, I will agree with you, Dr. Marge. Next question. Okay, how best is it for us to teach our kids about sex?
I think you can teach them some things about sex, but also remember there is such a thing as TMI.
What's
too
TMI?
Much information. Too much information. Okay? So they don't want to know if you did the doggy position with their father the night before. They don't really want to know ilang rounds ang ginawa ninyo. But I think you can teach them about how to make good sexual decisions. I think you can teach them to learn how to say no. I think you can teach them not to try to convince people na hindi ka bakla. If you don't want to have sex with someone, you don't have to have sex with someone. And of course, I think you can teach them that whether you're gay, you're straight, you're pansexual, you're LGBT, it's okay. It doesn't matter, as long as you love and you love responsibly, that's okay. It doesn't matter what gender the person you love is. What matters is you love decently. I think that is very important for us to teach our children.
So would you advise single people to date a lot of people or to stick to one before getting married?
See, studies have shown if you are an extrovert, you get over your love affairs much more quickly. Okay? So if you are an extrovert, by all means, date a lot of people. If you are an introvert, maybe be a little careful. Kasi if you date and then fall in love, if you fall in love and you break up several times, talagang masasaktan yung introvert. You might become brittle. So I hope you can date a few people, maybe not as many as the introverts do. And that's okay. Hindi naman ito contest. But just take care of your heart because we don't want you to be brittle. So to make it shorter, if you're an extrovert, you can have a lot of relationships. You bounce back very easily. So yeah, date a lot of people. Mabuti yon. If you're an introvert, you do not get over your love affairs as quickly. So be a little more careful, be more choosy. Kasi, you know, it's okay to be heartbroken a few times. It's okay for your heart to be broken, but not to the point that you get to be brittle.
Okay, last question.
Okay, good. Thank you.
How did you get to be the greatest sexual therapist in the whole world?
Because I talk to people who are biased like you.
I'm not biased. I love you.
And the feeling is mutual. The feeling is mutual, Princess. Hindi ito bolahan, okay? The feeling is mutual. I don't know. I went into sex therapy because I thought I needed it. You know, I might as well tell you, pareho tayong UP, no? I fell in love
with UP kids.
Yeah, I fell in love with my college professor.
Okay.
And I didn't know who to go to. I didn't know. I wanted to ask, well, kasi the guy was married, no? And that was a dilemma for me. But my questions were, will anyone still want to marry me even if I'm not a virgin anymore? And not that I would ever lie. If I was a non-virgin, I wouldn't pretend I was a virgin. But can people tell? Can my boyfriend tell if I'm not a virgin anymore? Kasi if he can tell, I definitely will not have sex with someone na malaki ang bunganga. You know,
never with a married man, please. Never with a married man again.
So
anyway,
I didn't know who to go to. So I told myself, when I grow up, although I was already grown up, I was second year college, I am gonna be the sort of person whom other colegialas or UP students or students can go to, because I will separate opinion from clinical experience or research, and I will never judge. I hope, and I think I tried to be the kind of therapist I would have wanted to go to. I tried to be the kind of therapist that I would respect, meaning you're on time for appointments, you know, you walk the talk, etc.
This is why we love you so much. You know, during our generation, we really look up to you. Although the younger ones, they don't know really how famous you are. But when my daughter asked, who's Dr. Holmes? Well, she's just about the greatest clinical psychologist in the world. So, Marge, I won't take much of your time. I know you're stressed and have a lot of appointments. So please see me when you come back in the Philippines, and we'll have a lovely dinner together, all of us.
Thank you. And I hope, Princess, that one day you'll invite me again. Well, see, if people like this, if they like the interview, I hope you'll invite me again.
Definitely. I will definitely invite you again. We need more advice from our great Marge Holmes guru.
Anyway, thank you, Princess. Thank you with all my heart. And I look forward to seeing you when I get back to Manila.
Okay, let's see each other in Manila. Okay, bye. Thanks, Dr. Marge. That was a great interview. We all loved it. Tandaan, sundin ang batas, magpakabait, or else